I'll start with a quick review. I'll give this book 4 out of 5 stars. It was kind of interesting overview of the whole AI and prediction machines. Reading pretty well. I couldn't say I learned that much of new information, but I think it was packed very well and was not boring. So it was, like I said, it was a good overview of the whole system and how everything works together. If you know or read other books from the field, there is not much new information, but I would still recommend that. Let's see some of the notes. Computers can't think, but they can predict. So if they cannot think for themselves, but they can do very well, what they can do is predict. Regression analysis calculate averages while trying to minimize error of changes. So that's regression analysis. We're trying to calculate averages, but usually when you calculate averages, there is some errors of changes, and that's what regression analysis is trying to avoid. Small data sets are more likely to have outliers. The smaller the data set, the more outliers we might have. Credit card companies evaluate the payoffs of denying a transaction. They compare the loss of a customer versus the cost of a scam. What they do, especially since they have prediction machines, they evaluate what worth more. If they deny a transaction, is the customer worth more because they may not use the credit card anymore, or in that trip, or maybe a scam because it could be a scam and they are liable for that. Humans are better when there is a lack of data. Human senses are powerful in predicting human behavior. So when there is not enough data, we are better at predicting. Humans are better at predicting things and coming up with solutions or strategies. Computers, if they don't have data, it's just going to be very flawed. One of the reasons is because human senses are very good at predicting human behavior. So we have a lot. Could be argued that this is not what he said in the book, but because we have a lot of data about humans in our brains. Protecting the areas without holes in the aircraft was a better model because those ones who hit there didn't came back. So the idea was, it was forget which war, maybe World War II, and they thought, where should we put more guard? Where should we put more metal to guard the aircraft? And was counterintuitive to put it where there is less holes, because the ones where there is most holes, which that was the intuitive solution, was wrong, because turns out that if you get hit there, you're not gonna fall because you can come back. But those who got hit when there is no holes just didn't came back. That was kind of interesting and counterintuitive. I like that. Someone said, if you never missed a flight, you spend too much time in airports. Because it's either one of the two. Either you're there too long because there's always traffic and things, or you just if you always go out on time, you might lose your flight. The popular keyboard developed to avoid typing frequently used letters together. The whole reason I think they call it query keyboard is to avoid, because they had like a mechanical keyboard and they could get stuck if they're closer together. So the farther it is, the easier. Bookkeepers' job has been augmented rather than eliminated due to prediction machines. They always say that prediction machine will eliminate many jobs, but for example, bookkeepers, which would be thought as a job that would be eliminated, they actually got augmented. They changed it a little bit, and many times prediction machines are not eliminating jobs and changing the jobs, augmenting the jobs, and not eliminating. STEM ads has been shown to men more since it was cheaper than showing them to women. STEM, so all the STEM field ads were shown to men because there is amount of money that is worth paying. So women are targeted for other things. Therefore, showing them an ad about STEM was more expensive. Therefore, the algorithm targeted men because it was cheaper. And there is also a part of the algorithm is to make it cheaper for the advertiser. Someone said, half of my ad money is wasted. The problem is that I don't know which half. I find it a little funny. We know that it's not very effective, but we don't know what is not effective. And I think it's being honest. And that's why I took a note of that, is being honest about the fact that you don't know what works and what not. You know that something works, you don't know what exactly. Knowing if ads work would need knowing what happens without them. So that's kind of that counterfactual. They call it counterfactual. Is what happens if you didn't have the ads, and many times we don't have that opportunity to do that. Same thing with prediction machines. We don't know what's going to happen without it. He's talking a little bit about it in the book, and that's it for the notes. And again, 4 out of 5. So there is some interesting information, especially if you're considering or are interested or fascinated by prediction machines and AI. That's it. Thank you.